What's up guys, here today to One Piece chapter 763 review. So in this chapter of One Piece, right, a lot of shit went down, but I'll just start off from, the general gist in terms of the progression of the story. I'll start discussing my thoughts along those lines. So at the very beginning of this chapter we see the flashback, well, Doflamingo's flashback of his childhood, his past. We see him being tied up with his father and his brother, and they are basically being tortured by the humans, right? Because the humans seemingly found out that they are Tenryu Bito, they're the noble class in the One Piece world, and they look down on normal humans as trash, as pests, right? And these people, the unspeakable things that have been done against them, right? I can definitely see but they would be upset against these ten Rubito people. And we see that flashback. Then the scene shifts back to the Flamingo. He was having a nightmare. He was remembering in a dream those incidents that happened to him in his past. And then we get further detail, further info on what actually happened in his past. So we found out about his father. His father was definitely one of the Tenryu Bito. He was one of the royal dragons, something like that. But he was a very high noble up in the society. But he decided that he is human and he's going to live amongst the humans, right? He was denouncing his status as a Tenryu Bito. Why? Who knows? That's not declared at this point. But what is known is that he did relinquish his Tenryu Bito authority and his powers, and he wanted to live amongst the humans. Now, when they began living amongst the humans, right, young Doflamingo, right, even when he was young, he was still rocking those shades. Doflamingo began going out into the city, into the town area, calling everyone slaves and demanding things of them, thinking that this is like when he was back in Marie Jos, up in their ten Rio Bito world, where they would have slaves and they would have people come to their call at every moment, and everyone would kind of worship them. It's different out living here in the real human world, and because of that issue, people began finding out that, hey, those folks, you're actually the 10 Rubito that we've been hating against, that we've hated for so long. Let's get our revenge. So it was all downhill from there for them. The guys around them, they began hunting them mercilessly. They began coming after them. They burnt down their house. They had to live out in the slums. Soon after that, his wife got sick and died because she couldn't put up with the whole stressful environment, I'm guessing. And some pretty horrible stuff happened, man. Like the Flamingo and his brother Corazon, they actually had to be eating out of garbage cans, and they had to be running everywhere they went. They had to be looking behind them. One scene they actually got caught, and the father was begging them that they should spare his two sons and just take him instead. It was pretty horrible for him back then. Pretty horrible. The people in the general public, they definitely do hate the Tenryu Bito. That's for damn sure. And this flashback solidifies everything in terms of the clear division that exists between the people of a normal human world and the Tenryu Bito, or the governing class in the One Piece world. So we see then shifts back over to Doflamingo, and he decides that he's going to make Law a part of his crew. He says that Law, through Law's eyes, through looking at Law's eyes, he's realized that Law, he has seen a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. Because of that, he has what it takes to be a part of his crew. So he's going to train Law to become his right hand man. And he knows that Law only have 3 years to live, but he's saying, like, from all of the devil fruits that they come across in the next 3 years, maybe Law will get lucky enough that something will come along that will save his life. So the Flamingo then began training him, Diamante, using Diamante to train him. Law G looked a lot younger in those days, and all of the other executive members, he used those guys to help train Law to make him stronger. He also gave him study material to increase his intellect. He was definitely preparing Law to become his right hand man. And then seemingly 2 years had passed, and um, Buffalo and Baby Five, they were talking with Law and they were asking Law what's his real name, because apparently he didn't tell them his full name. He just told them that his name is Law. So he asked him, and then Law was hesitant because he said that his real name is a secret, so and not everyone knows about it. So he was hesitant not to tell him, but Buffalo 5, he was basically threatening Law that if he didn't tell, and he was going to tell the Flamingo what really happened, with Corazon back then. And oh yes, another thing to point it out, Corazon, he basically overlooked that incident from Law, right? That's very strange coming from somebody who hates children, right? This was a perfect opportunity to torture Law to bits, but he overlooked the incident. He made it seem like it was just another attack from an enemy, and because of that, the Flamingo didn't know that it was actually Law who injured Corazon. Because if he had known, Law would have probably been dead at that point. But Corazon saved him back then, and that was very interesting coming from someone like Corazon, who hates children, who seems to be merciless, who doesn't talk anymore because of a past trauma, and who is just random and all over the place, clumsy and all over the place like that. So apparently, Law, back to the point at hand, Law decides to tell Buffalo and Baby Five his real name, and his real name is Trafalgar D. Water Law, right? That's his real bona fide name. He says that the water is a secret code name, and well, yeah, the D name, right? We all know the significance of the name, or the letter D in names, in relation to One Piece, in the world of One Piece. We all know the significance of that, right? The people with D, they definitely have a certain temperament about them and a certain ability. It's not revealed at this point, but when you have the name of D, that's a big deal. And then he says that the name Water is also another special code name. And then out of the blue, some Corazon picked him up. They all thought that Corazon was going to pick on him again, but that's not the case. Corazon actually spoke to Law. Right? This is the dude that was seemingly dumb, couldn't talk anymore because of a past trauma. He spoke to Law. He told Law that because you have the name D, you should do everything you can to get away from the Flamingo, right? And that's where the chapter ends off at that point. So it's not only revealed, which is a big shocker to me, that Law is also another one of those D dudes, right? Another one of those dudes that have D in their name. So he also has the will of D in him, as well as Luffy and the other guys around that has this D name in them. He's another one of them. But also the fact that Corazon in this situation, his seemingly enemy, took him aside and gave him advice and told him to stay away from the Flamingo because he has the name of D. So, and the chapter ends off on that note. I'm sure we'll get more explanation next week as to what really is happening, but in my opinion, that's pretty insane. So Trafalgar has the name of D in him. He has the will of D as well. So that makes him a very viable proponent, apart from Luffy, to become the next Pirate King. So he really is, in a sense, Luffy's competitor, in a sense. But overall, I thought that it was a very good chapter of One Piece. I loved it very much. I liked all the flashbacks. They were all relevant, and they explain a lot, not just about the Flamingo's past, but we are getting to know more about Law through this flashback as well. So that's it. That's my review. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Sayonara.